Welcome to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft, the founder and CEO of Judy Heft and Associates, Financial and Lifestyle Concierge. This year, she's celebrating 27 years in business. In every episode, Judy interviews professionals who help others successfully manage their financial lives. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Judy is the author of 2 books, How to Be Smart, Successful, and Organized with Your Money for a Better Today and Tomorrow, and her latest book, Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles, How to Successfully Manage Money in Every Decade of Life. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of the show at www.judithheft.com. Now, here's the host of Mastering Your Financial Life, Judy Heft.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to episode 85 of Mastering Your Financial Life. And today I'm really thrilled and excited to be here with Andrea Greenspan. Andrea is a certified image consultant, lifestyle expert, brand coach, author, motivational speaker, and so much more. We love having her here. She's got great style, so I'm excited to hear what she has to say. And she consults and coaches clients to how to help come up with your own personal style, not so that you're not cookie cutter. And she's passionate, caring, and creative. And this really comes out when she's working with her clients. She brings out your best features and, she's being mindful of your budget and what you need to do. So Andrea, welcome. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thrilled to be here, Judy. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. So how did you decide to become an image consultant?
It was really one of those pivot moments, and I hate to overuse that word, but it was that. I was another cliche empty nester sitting there going, what am I going to do now? I'm free to be the workaholic that I am by nature. And I've acquired so much experience in my life. I've had an uncharted, wonderful set of experiences that I was open to. And I said, what do I do? What is it? How do I describe myself? And I realized everything that I had done really was under the umbrella of image. And so I set about finding out more about what an image consultant was, because there was such a thing, and discovered that there is a profession. I got trained, in colors, I got trained in the business of it. I've gotten trained in corporate etiquette. I mean, everything you can imagine under the sun tied to image, style, and brand. And it was really the idea that I want to give back what I know. And I think that's so important, not just for women, but for everybody, to be able to share your knowledge with others so that they can prosper and enjoy their life as much as I'm enjoying mine.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a great explanation. So is there a difference between an image consultant and a stylist?
I'm asked that often. When I say I'm an image consultant, they say, what is that? Are you a stylist? So I'm used to this question. A stylist, I say, in my understanding of it, is that it's someone who basically looks at you and says, you'll maybe meet them in a department store as the personal shopper. Maybe you'll hire somebody to go shopping with you, and they will show you what's in fashion because that's what's available and put you together. I start as an image consultant. Yes, I do styling, but it's part of my toolbox. And I start with a deeper sense of who are you? I put you through, my clients through questionnaires, measurements for what I call their fit for fashion. I do intense color studies, and I get to know them really, really well before I even attack their style. So that's why I've named my business AG Image Style Brand, because it is a 3-part process, whether it's for an individual or for a company. So I start with image, really get to know that, give them some optimal information that they're not going to fight me on because it's fact. You know that, numbers, right? You can't, there they are. And then I take that to the closet, and that's where the styling begins, but actually kind of it's the therapy. I call it, I live in the space between their birthday suit and their business suit. And that's where all the muck is.
That makes a lot of sense. So I remember you talked about colors. You mentioned that. And, I remember years ago, there was a Color Me Beautiful thing. Do you remember that? That was so much fun. I did that, of course, because I love clothes, and I grew up in the family clothing business. And before I started this business, I had a retail clothing store. So I've always been around. Yeah. So I've always been around clothes, and it's important to me. I don't know. And I love shopping and I can't help it. And, I think it's in my DNA. It's obvious that my children and my granddaughters are already starting in that department. But the one thing about the image, the Color Me Beautiful thing, which I thought was so much fun, was it really they put the colors up and it really kind of went with your face. I don't adhere to it that strictly anymore. I know I should, but I like black, and black was not in my color. So, I wear black anyway.
So it's interesting you bring that up, because that's a lot of people know that the Color Me Beautiful, and that was of course tied to a business of makeup. So we need to understand that that was part of that marketing strategy, and it stuck around a long time. And then I'm sorry, I have allergies and I've got an itchy nose when I have an allergy. I'm not lying here, I'm making it grow. And then there are a lot of people who've done the seasons. My approach, I studied with a woman named Elaine Stoltz, and there are several different approaches to color. And it is an interesting and wildly fascinating area, because it can involve your energy levels. It can include of course, your clothing and your hair and your makeup. But what I do is I actually look at it a little bit more intensely. And that was the approach that Elaine took. And it's not a name. I don't call you a spring, summer, fall, whatever. And that's nothing wrong with that. That's just not the approach I decided was best. Mine is a very specific to the person's eyes, their hair color, their facial colors, and the blush in their face, their natural blush. And I build those 4 components. And then I, from there, create an entire color wheel. And I should have mine, but I don't. But it literally is a wheel with like 5 different colors on each strand. I give you 18 different strands, and it covers all the different colors you can wear. And as you mentioned, you wear black. And there are actually books written about how not to wear black only. Black is the absence of colors. So you're not going to, you're avoiding it completely. White is another one. White is great. It does bring,
that's what I wear, black and white.
It's reflective, but, and maybe because you're in the number business, that's great, because you are pretty much black and white. But there are stories in between that. And many people will say, oh, I don't wear red, or I just wear black. It's like, well, have you tried the other colors? How do they make you feel? And one of the things that I did when I got my colors done, sort of like being an analyst, you have to be analyzed before you can be an analyst. But I got my colors done, and I went in the closet and I opened up my fan. I went, oh my God. And all the things that didn't work or complement that, ba-boing, ba-boing, ba-boing. And the things that I pulled were things I never was comfortable in, but I didn't know why, which is really funny. But there is also a financial component to it that I think your listeners would enjoy. And what I find is so interesting is, with that one basic tool, and it is the starting point, my clients are empowered when they go shopping to know what colors to look for. Okay, because different colors are popular at different seasons, just like different cuts are. And you know all that. But that doesn't mean you have to buy every season. If it doesn't complement you, don't spend the money. And if you are a sales shopper or a hobby shopper, or a scared shopper, knowing what colors to go to will give you confidence, and it'll give you decision-making powers that you didn't have. So it's also how you use the different colors and patterns, and where you place them on your body based on your face shape and your body structure, and understanding that actually we think we're dressing our body, but the thing we see most is right here, as we see today. And so everything you're really doing is here to make that look great.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I know that when I do wear those colors that were suggested to me in my color palette, I get a lot more compliments than if I'm wearing a boring white shirt like I have on today, or black, or which are my go-tos. But, no, I do intersperse those colors. I was kidding when I said I only wear black and white.
I'm sure you do.
I love color too.
It's fun. It's fun. And as long as it works with you, it's not working against you.
That makes a lot of sense for me. So, what do you say, what does that mean? Like, I know that I've heard you say, let's make your wardrobe ready for your life. How does that make sense? How does that work?
Thank you for asking. That's my tagline, because I see so many people, when I get to the closet space, it's either really minimalistic to the point they don't have anything to wear and they're just you can see they're petrified, or it's jam-packed with new, old clothing with tickets on it, just a mishmash of stuff. And of course, there's much in between. But what I like to say is you should be able to, from a budget standpoint and from a lifestyle, see your life in your closet. So if you can apportion it almost like a pie chart, how much of your life is work, how much is recreation, how much is travel, how much is galas. Your wardrobe should be distributed that way. And the clothing that you have should be easily distributed in terms of its appearance so that you can access it quickly. I can get dressed literally and in and out of my closet in less than 5 minutes because I know where everything is. I know what colors go together. I know my body type, and the only things that are in there are things that actually work for me that way. So I literally can get in and out really quickly. And to me, that's really an asset because your clothing is a tool. Right? It's a necessity. We can't go out naked, most of us, but it's a tool for you to not only express yourself, but give you the confidence you need when you enter a room.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense to me too. I think it's interesting because, so, what do you say to someone that says, you're in their closet and you're helping them and they said, but you know what, I know I'm 10 pounds overweight. I'm saving that because I'm going to fit into it after I lose the weight or, 20 or whatever it is. I know a lot of people do that. Sometimes I do that myself. I have to admit it. I do have some jeans in my closet that I can't get into right now, but I'm praying I'm going to get into them soon. So how do you handle that with people?
It's constant. And it's sometimes a barrier for people to work with me because they're hung up on that. And I say, you've got to live while you're losing the weight. And everyone has that extra 5 pounds. But the one thing I do give them is a strategy that I use. And I say, once you reach your target weight, that weight isn't a number. To me, the weight is a range. So I have a low range and a high range. And I can fit in all my clothing if I'm in the low range or the high range. And so whether it's 3 pounds, for me, it's 3 pounds. I give myself a 3 pound range. And I know when I start hitting the higher end of that, oops, I got to cut back on the wine, or oops, I can't have dessert that week. And it comes right back and you train your body. So that's one little trick. But I say to people that if you're a pendulum, weight, if you have a pendulum weight, or if you like to indulge and not catch yourself sometime, which is, everybody's different, everyone's fine. Let your wardrobe do it. So maybe have clothing that has elastic waist, maybe clothing that has stretch in it. But be conscious of how it fits. So clothing that's too tight or clothing that's too loose, either way, it looks horrible and people see it. So if it's too tight, people are going to say, you're really trying to shove yourself into those jeans, Judy. And you don't want to be seen like that. And you probably can't sit down because it's not comfortable. So comfort. That's the worst thing when a jean is doing what it does when it's too small. But comfort provides confidence, and it's all about feeling confident. That's what this whole thing is about.
Oh, I like that. All about feeling confident and comfortable. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So let's take a little break here. We're here with Andrea Greenspan. We'll come back and we'll talk some more about fashion and style and colors. It's an interesting conversation.
Thanks.
Hey there. I just want to tell you a little bit about my new book that just came out called Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles. And here it is. It's how to successfully manage your money in every decade of life. I co-authored this with my CFO, Liz Levy, and together we created this manual that's going to help you through every stage of life. We talk about having a baby. We talk about young adulthood, pre-retirement, what to do when you're at that age of retirement. If you're contemplating divorce, do you need an estate plan? We cover all of these, each subject in a different chapter. And I really think that you're going to find this so helpful because at the end of every chapter, we have checklists that you can look at and you can use, and they can be a guide for you. So this is a wonderful manual that we've created. It's available on Amazon. You can also find it on our website at judithheft.com/book. And we're here for you. If you need anything, reach out. I hope you enjoy the book. Here's another picture of it, just so you know what's going on. Here it is. And I'm really proud of it. It's my second book. And I'd love to have you read it and give me your feedback. Judy Heft, judithheft.com, financial and lifestyle concierge, celebrating 26 years in business. And over the years, I've learned so much. And what I've been trying to do is impart a little bit of this knowledge to you so I can help all of you become as financially organized as I am.
And we're back here with Andrea Greenspan. And if you're watching us on video on YouTube or LinkedIn or something, you see that I do wear colors occasionally. My commercial, I have that nice coral shirt on. I was exaggerating before when I said black and white, but those are my go-tos. But anyway, why would someone hire you, or when do they need to hire you? How does that all work out?
It's a funny thing. I'm somebody that people either, when I introduce myself and they ask what I do and I say what I do, say, I didn't know that existed. I need you now, which is of course fantastic. Doesn't happen all the time, but that's fantastic. People find me through LinkedIn. They find me from watching me on Instagram, or word of mouth. My clients and I have a very private kind of relationship, whether it's a business or an individual. And the best time is when you're going through a transition, when you're having a lot of questions in your mind, because this area of information and expertise really does help you explore a little bit more about what your needs are, whether it's a divorce, whether it's starting a new business, whether it's looking for that new higher position in a company, or you're going to do a big speech, or all of a sudden your work requires you have travel and you don't even know how to pack properly, or what it means when they say, what was the funny one I heard the other day? It was like, oh yeah, it was South Carolina casual. He's like, well, I don't know what that means, but anyway, so there are things like that. So it's really moments of transition. It can even be something as simple as you've lost a lot of weight, or you've gained some weight, or you just had a baby, or medical reasons, all kinds of reasons. But I say the key thing is transition. So kind of a transition's about to happen, or you want it to happen.
So how do you work? Do you go into someone's home and go through their closet and help them purge stuff?
Yes. Yes. So part of it is that. So if I'm working with an individual, I'll go in, I'll do the what I call the objective information gathering, which is the fit for fashion, your body measurements, how your face is shaped, your colors study. So I know your color analysis. And also I'll do a pretty big intake about your hobbies, habits, shopping habits, preferences, what lines you like, do you have a budget? And that's sort of an interesting question. And try to understand what their interests are and what their lifestyle looks like. Their motivations for shopping. And I learned a lot. It goes a little deeper than that, but I learned a lot. And so then I have my quote unquote ammunition, and I take them. That next step is the closet, which I mentioned is style. And I do an audit and then an edit. So I do a quick audit, I call it. And I can see a lot, and I explain what I see. And then I do the editing. And typically I'll find they're different kind of clients. Some are sentimentalists, some are wishful, some are just fashionistas, and they have to have the newest all the time. So I'm sensitive to who the person is I'm working with, so that I'm not offending anybody. I never offend anybody. I try to make it jocular and fun, and empowering for them. But then, and I take before and after pictures of the closet. I think that's even more important than the person, because I don't like to advertise who I work with by putting befores and afters. I just don't think that that's fair unless they ask to, or tell people afterwards that, oh, look who worked with me. But I think the closet says a lot, and it gives them a sense of peace, organization, and then they have the tools they need. And what they don't have, I then use as information as to what we need to go shopping for. So in addition to the budget for my fees, you need to have an awareness that there'll be budget, maybe for getting things to organize your closet, or maybe for clothing and accessories. And then the next thing I do is I put outfits together for everybody, for my clients, and people work differently, but I do have an online 24/7, 365 website that I can create for each person I work with. And in that, I upload all of their clothing and accessories into categories. I create outfits for them. I create packing lists for them virtually. I can do virtual audit and edits from there. Then we can communicate about what we want to buy or not buy, and anything they've tossed or added to their closet. So it's a living space that we can communicate with throughout the year.
I love that. I love that everybody has their own personal little web page with all their clothes
Zero
in it.
session.
Really cool. I think that would be a fun thing to have. And then you could just go in there, because sometimes no matter how organized you are with clothes or whatever else in your home, that's always nice to have another opinion ttoo.
Completely. And it's never about me. You'll notice in my logo, yeah. And on my logo, I have it's AG Image Style Brand, and my AG is small and lowercase, and the rest is uppercase, because it's all about the client. So it's not my opinion, it's my information.
So is it a long-term or short-term commitment? Does someone just hire you as a one-shot deal, or do they work with you over the years or months or whatever that might be?
It ends up being a long-term career relationship with my clients. The first part, I prefer to do the initial image package before I commit to doing any other work with people, because otherwise it is just my opinion. And so I'm a little different than others. It's like, I prefer that we do that first and then you become my client. So that is the first step. And if you are willing to do that, then we can work together, because otherwise, as I said, I'd be more just a stylist. And I don't think that that's serving my client as well. And then we can I develop programs based on the person's budget, because again, it comes down to numbers. What can you afford? How much? How do we work this out so it works for you? And certainly if I'm doing the website that I mentioned, that process is a subscription process, and it provides access to that. Plus you have access to me at different levels, depending on the rate you're paying for one-on-ones, for me to create X number of outfits a month, for how many outfits I'll go shopping for during that period of time. And everybody's different. So there's a minimum and a maximum. Well, there's never a maximum.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, most of my clients become clients that I see periodically and repeatedly. I mean, someone just called today that I hadn't seen since 2020. And it was like, you want me to come? Okay. But I already know her deal. So it's okay. I can go back in.
So when you go into someone's closet, either at the initial outcome or even after, like this person that just called you a couple of years later, is that done virtually, or do you go there in person and look through everything?
I can do both. I can do either one, depending, again, on the budget and time frame. But because we all learned that during lockdown, how to do things virtually, I became comfortable doing it that way as well. This case, she's around the corner and she prefers I come in. It's fine. So I'll go. I travel for my work all the time. As you know, I was in New York and doing a workshop, a talk there. And so I have clients all over. It's fun. It's really fun. I really enjoyed the people part of it, and learning about different lifestyles across the country.
Yeah, it sounds like a really fun career that you've created for yourself. I kind of envy you a little bit. Maybe in my next life, I'm going to do that, because I love clothes. I love helping people. And it's funny because my mother-in-law, years and years ago, she's gone now, ex-mother-in-law, I guess I could call her, used to have me come in there and clean out her closet for and organize it. And then I'd leave and she'd put the stuff back in there. The thing with my sister, she'd fly me to Florida. Oh, you have to come. My closets are a mess. And I'm like, get rid of this. And she's like, and then, I turn around and it's back in the closet. I think people are just attached to certain items sometimes.
Well, that is the thing. That's the sentimentalist. And so I'm very conscious of that. And I'm not going to poo-poo them if they say that. I'll explain that perhaps the next time we'll visit it and we should then take it out. It's like saying goodbye to a pet almost, because people really, their memory is affiliated with clothing. Where did you wear it? When did you wear it? Who were you to wear it with? We all know that. And so there are other ways to capture those pieces. You can, some of them, like if it's an Hermes scarf, a gorgeous scarf, you can frame it if you're not wearing it anymore, right? And that's a stunning way to do several frames of Hermes scarves. Or if a lot of my clients are very into textiles, and that motivates them to shop because they just love textiles. And it's really the fabric they're involved with more than even the piece sometimes. And so in that situation, if with permission, of course, we can do things, we can repurpose those things into decorative items, whether it's a throw or a pillow, or so they're not really giving it up. I'm very into repurposing, upgrading things, making them modernized rather than throwing them out. I think that there's a responsibility we all have to be aware of fast fashion, avoid it as much as possible. The fashion industry, I'm sure you're aware of this, is a huge contributor to climate issues and landfill issues. So as well as a lot of workplace horrors. So I really try to guide people towards brands that I know are respectful of all that and how to maximize what they have.
That makes a lot of sense. My niece got married about 2 years ago. My mother, who has passed away, used to make patchwork quilts for all of us, I'm talking back in the 70s, and so my niece, is my great niece, had a quilt of my mother's made into a jacket. And I thought,
that's so cool.
Strange, but it was she wore it at her wedding at the reception. Went over her dress, and at first, when I heard about it, I thought, all right, whatever. But you know what? It was really cool, and it looked great, and it was so nice that she had my mother there with her grandmother. So it was really a wonderful thing.
I think that's wonderful. It's cute. My grandmother did the same thing. We did the same thing, I should say. When she passed, she had mink coats. I mean, all of our mothers and grandmothers, that was the thing. It isn't the thing now. And so I had the coat converted into teddy bears. and gave it to all of her granddaughters and nieces. And we love it.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun.
I had my mother's Persian lamb coat made into earmuffs and a scarf. And
I love it. I love it.
It's good. It's great to repurpose stuff. So this was really interesting, Andrea. How can our listeners find you?
Thank you for asking. Certainly they can call you, but more directly, they can reach me via my website, which is Andrea@AndreaGreenspan.com. No, that's my email. Excuse me. That is my email, Andrea@AndreaGreenspan.com. My website is AndreaGreenspan.com. And you can find me on Instagram at AG Image Style Brand with _AG_Image Style Brand. It'll pop up. And I'm also on Linktree, which is a wonderful source. If people don't know about that, it's a great, this is not a pitch. This is just something I really enjoy. It's sort of like an index card of all your services, so that you can email me from it. You can go to my LinkedIn, you can go to my website, and you can do all kinds of fun things. You can link to some of the vendors I love right from there. So that would be Linktree. And I think I'm AG Image Style Brand on that too. If not, it's Linktree Andrea Greenspan. I'm going to check.
I think Linktree is on Instagram, isn't it?
Is that part? It might be part of Instagram, but
I'm not really sure, but it sounds like it might be. I think I heard that once.
It's really cool. So anyway, lots of ways. And my telephone number is 561-310-9172. And I'm going to go to my Linktree because I feel silly now. Hang on a sec. Linktree. And Linktree is linktr.ee/ there it is, AG Image Style Brand. So
excellent.
That's it.
Great. Are you on Instagram also?
Yes, AG Image Style Brand. But if you pop in Andrea Greenspan in Google, you'll get a lot of my history. You'll find me.
Great. Well, this was really interesting. Thank you so much for being a great guest, Andrea. I look forward to talking to you some more.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Judy, and hope the listeners got a lot out of this.
I'm sure they did.
Thank you for tuning into Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of the show at www.judithheft.com. Thank you for your positive comments and sharing this show with others.